All right, let's talk about one of the biggest topics in tech, data structures and algorithms, or DSA. Today, we're going to map out the complete journey step by step to help you finally master it.
Does trying to master DSA feel a little confusing? Yeah, if you're just starting out, it can honestly feel like you're staring at a mountain with no idea how to climb it. It's a super common feeling, so trust me, you are not alone in this. You know, it's important, you hear it all the time, but there's just no clear roadmap, right? It feels like you're just wandering around without a map.
And then you see the list of topics: arrays, trees, graphs, dynamic programming. It just keeps going. Looking at all that at once can be seriously intimidating. So you just don't know where to start. And that's probably the biggest hurdle for most people. But hey, that's exactly why we're here. We're gonna break it all down with a clear step-by-step guide to get you from feeling overwhelmed to totally confident. So let's get into it.
Okay, so first things first, what even is DSA, and more importantly, why does it matter so much?
Let's put it simply. Data structures are just how we organize our data. Think of them like different types of containers or building blocks. And algorithms? Well, they're the set of instructions, the brain, really, that tells us how to actually use that data to get things done. So why should you care? Why put in all this effort? Well, because DSA is the absolute key to becoming a great problem solver. It's the foundation for building your logic, and let's be real, it's the #1 thing you need to crack those tough coding interviews.
All right, here we go. This is the main event, the step-by-step roadmap you've been waiting for. Let's walk through this journey together.
So we kick things off with the absolute basics, your programming fundamentals. Can't build a house without a foundation, right? From there, we jump into arrays and strings, your first real data structures. Then we'll get into the linear stuff like linked lists, stacks, and queues. After that, we level up to trees and graphs, which is where things get really interesting. And finally, we'll cap it all off with some powerful advanced algorithms. So, step 2, arrays. Everything really does start here. They are the most basic way to store a bunch of items together. You know, each item gets its own little numbered slot, its index, which makes grabbing any specific one super fast. Honestly, getting comfortable with arrays is just non-negotiable.
Next up, we've got our linear structures. Linked lists are awesome. They chain elements together, which is perfect when your data needs to grow or shrink. Then you have stacks and queues, which are all about order. A stack is last in, first out. Just think of a stack of pancakes. A queue is first in, first out, like, you know, a line at the bank.
And then we get to graphs. Now this is where things get really cool, because graphs are everywhere in the real world. We're talking about your social network, Google Maps, the internet itself. Learning how to work with these complex webs of connections is a total game changer for your problem-solving skills. Okay, so you've learned the structures. That's great, but it's kind of like having a toolbox full of tools. Now you need to learn the techniques for actually using them to build something awesome. Let's look at 2 heavy hitters: greedy algorithms and dynamic programming. Think of the greedy approach as the quick and easy choice. It just picks the best option right now, at this very moment. It's fast, but it might not lead to the best overall solution. Dynamic programming, on the other hand, is the methodical planner. It breaks a big problem into tiny little pieces, solves each piece just once, and remembers the answer. It's a bit more work up front, but it guarantees you'll find the absolute best solution. Now, this next part is maybe the most important of all. You can watch a million tutorials, but at the end of the day, DSA is a skill you build by doing. So let's get into your practice strategy. I love this quote. It really nails the right mindset. You've got to think of DSA as solving puzzles, not just memorizing stuff. The goal isn't to just spit out a memorized algorithm. It's to train your brain to see the patterns and figure out the logic behind the puzzle. So where can you go to practice? Well, you've got tons of great options. LeetCode is king for interview prep. Geeks for Geeks is fantastic because it gives you great explanations. HackerRank is a really solid place to start if you're a beginner, and Code Studio is another awesome one to check out. Okay, so how should you practice? 3 simple rules. First, be consistent. Even one problem a day makes a huge difference over time. Second, focus on patterns. You'll start to see that a lot of problems are just variations of common techniques like sliding window or 2 pointers. And third, practice on paper first. Seriously, before you touch the keyboard, sketch out your logic. Trust me, it forces you to actually understand what you're doing. All right, we've laid out the map, you have the tools, you have the strategy. Now there's only one thing left to do. It really is this simple. Start today. Not tomorrow, not next week. Stay consistent, especially on the days you don't feel like it. because that is how you're going to crack those interviews and land the job you want. So there you have it, the complete roadmap, from the very beginning all the way to advanced. The path is clear. So the only question left for you is, what's your first step going to be?